Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the Good, the Bad, and the Ocky podcast. Tim here, aka Mr. Flightside. This will be the first of many productions across all socials. So, thank you first and foremost for joining me on this journey. If you'd like to give us a follow, I will take a leisurely look with you through the darting world, all the events, all the results, all the talking points, discussion points, and everything in between. But if you've come to this video, you are looking for some Premier League lineup reaction. So let's get straight into it then. Obviously, we know the four that were guaranteed to be in. Mainly, it was based on their top four ranking. Luke Littler, the winner of 11 PDC titles in 2024, and of course will be the defending champion, not only the Premier League champion, but of course the World Darts Championship after his win just a couple of days ago. I, for one, was actually quite anxious as to how he'd fare in 2024, considering fairy tale run to the final in last year's when he lost to he became runner up to Luke Humphries, and everyone was worried about burnout. I was a bit skeptical as to how he'd take to it, but he's kind of silenced all the doubters, blown everyone away, won the most PDC titles last year, say in 11, and a couple of majors in there with the Premier League, the Grand Slam, and of course the World. So proved me wrong. He'll go off favourite in absolutely everything that he enters in 2025. He'll be joined, of course, by Luke Humphries, the aforementioned former world champ, current match play champ, of course. Did have another decent year, but he'll be looking to go one better. Obviously, defeating the final last year to Luke Littler. He's ticked off a few tournaments that he hadn't won, and obviously Premier League is one that he hasn't won yet. So I fully assume that this will be one of his targets, getting to finals night and winning this one as well. Perhaps not the dominant 2024 that people think Luke Humphries might have had. Luke Littler obviously down partly due to that, but yeah, did win 7 total titles. And as I say, I think obviously he'll find himself in finals night. The other two, obviously the top four, the rankings, MVG, runner-up to Luke Littler just a few days ago. Obviously was lost in the first couple of sets there, wasn't it? But did win it back in 2023, 2022. So he'll be looking to make it Premier League title number 8 this season. A few shoots of optimism, few little signs that Van Gogh is finding his kind of statistical best, I suppose, and as he says, doing the right things at the right time in games and not making any mistakes. But yeah, averaging, he did share those last 6 sets in the World Championships 3-all with Luke Littler, averaging well over a ton. But yeah, damage was done early in that one, wasn't it? So he's been ranked in the top 10 for the top 3 for well over the last 10 years. So obviously a no-brainer that he was going to be in, but I don't necessarily see him as a winner of the Premier League this year. Rob Cross just about getting in with his number 4 world ranking. I do think if he was number 5 and Stephen Bunting, who we'll get to shortly, obviously included this year. If he was number 5, Rob Cross, I think he still would have been anyway. Did have a fairly quiet 2024. Had a second round exit in the Worlds to Scott Williams, of course. Did make the quarterfinals though, which when I was kind of doing a bit of prep and doing some notes, and they said reaching the quarterfinals in 4 of the other 6 televised ranking majors was a bit surprising because it doesn't feel like he's had that kind of a year in 2024. So he's obviously in because of his world ranking. He'll be average, and you're going to get a Rob Cross. It's just whether or not he can put up a big ceiling performance to get the wins and make it to finals night. So he's obviously vulnerable out of the top 4 to not make it to finals night. Now to the 4 players, obviously, that weren't guaranteed entry, obviously would have had to have been invited. I think there was no surprise that Stephen Bunting is in it this year. I don't know how he's making the titanium from Sia, the walk on what it is. I think you could play the Teletubbies or Bob the Builder, and the crowd and the Bunting army would absolutely lap it up. So again, he's been one of the better players in 2024, winning the Masters way back 11 months ago. Obviously one of the first majors of the season. Surprised obviously he's not really kicked on from then. He's obviously performed well, got to the semi-finals of the Worlds obviously, but he's in partly for his crowd pleasing. Dare I say, he's even maybe taken over Peter Wright's kind of mantle as the crowd favourite, as the person that everyone wants to kind of look forward to seeing and kind of interact with and engage with. Obviously, you're not going to see Stephen Bunting dance across the stage or wear a Mohican anytime soon. But there's plenty of merch out there for you Bunting mental fans. But yeah, he'll be a good addition. I think he'll equip himself well in the Premier League in 2025, especially people in Liverpool will be looking forward to it. I'm sure he'll be looking forward to it in Liverpool in front of his home crowd. I'm sure the touts as well, the bastards that they are, they will be also looking forward to that. So that's obviously the first five. I think the three were the most contentious and the ones that were most discussed as to who was in, who was out, who deserves to be in. The first one we're going to talk with here is Gerwyn Price. Slightly surprised he's in for a number of reasons, but yeah, again, I think one of the main reasons is his stage presence, his interaction and engagement with the crowds. He's usually the pantomime villain, not as bad as it used to be from yesteryears, but his semi-final Worlds run probably just about got him in. He's not gotten past the last 16 or the round of 16 any big tournament in 2024. He's not really won anything of note since the World Championships during COVID, and he actually withdrew from the Masters as well last year. And he's openly spoken about his dislike, or he's not overly bothered about the Premier League. So there was part of me that did think that he would refuse it, but clearly the money was too much, or the money, the opportunities that were there, he's kind of obviously reconsidered and taken his spot there. So he's not even the Welsh number one. So you could argue that Johnny Clayton deservedly over in terms of ranking, although he's not played too well this season. But he's fine. He's old form, Johnny Clayton. But yeah. Gerwyn Price is in, not one that I would have put in personally, but I don't make the decisions. Matthew Porter does. So, talking of World Championship semi-finalist, Chris Dobey will be included for his second campaign. Finished 7th in 2023. He's, to be fair to him, outside of the World Championships, where he's reached the quarterfinals, I think 3 or 4 years consecutively, which is very, very, very hard to do. He's number 10 in the world now. He's moving back up. But he's had elsewhere outside of the world, he's had pretty disappointing results on TV. But I think PDC, will hope that he's going to use the momentum and the confidence, maybe off the back of that semi-final appearance. He's got a solid game. Can hit a lot of 180s if he's on it. Doubles can go missing a little bit, but then you can say that about Gerwyn Price and some of the other guys as well, even Michael Van Gerwen, to be quite honest. So I'm not overly surprised. And of the three, Gerwyn Price, Nathan Aspinall, and the guy we'll talk about shortly as well, I think he's the one that out of the three I can get on board with most. But one that I can't get on board with is Nathan Aspinall, probably the most polarising inclusion in 2025's field. Many citing his walk-on, how much do Sky Sports and all the rest of them ram his walk-on down our throats. They play about 2/3 of Mr. Brightside when he walks onto the stage. I mean, and as someone that has Mr. Brightside as one of their favourite songs of all time, I'm not going to say no to it. But I think with the torrid form that he's had, the bits of dartitis, which has been very very much apparent as the tournament went on. If you've watched Game of Thrones and some of the other documentaries about with Nathan Aspinall, and he's openly talked about that he struggled with it. I do wonder and I do worry that another 17-18 week format each week touring. I'm not quite sure if this year was the right year for him. I think he could probably done with a bit of time off, but of the 2024, everyone that played, these 8 players in 2024, he had the lowest average of around 94. And I know it's not all about averages. It's about, entertainment. It's about, good matches and grinding it out. And, he does get involved in some battles. But, I just think that it would have been a perfect spot to put maybe a debutant in. With say all 8 players have previously been in the Premier League, it just feels a bit stale, feels a bit old, same old, rehashing some treads, and it just makes it a bit underwhelming for me. So as someone that's not really a big fan of the format with the dilution of the big games, and I know obviously you want to see the best players play every night, every game, and all the big tussles, but it does for me dilute it. So I'm not quite sure. I can't guarantee, or I can't say that I'll be watching every week intently. I maybe watch the first couple of weeks, but if I just feel it's all going to get a bit samey. But Aspinall could be one that struggles a bit for me. Hopefully he proves me wrong. Obviously, previous match play winner, but has struggled with injuries multiple times. His career-threatening injuries that he's had. So he's a good player when he's on it. I want to see him do well, but I just question whether or not it's the right time for him for the Premier League in 2025. So those are the 8. Let's get them up there and kind of have a little bit of a celebration. As you can see, all there on the bottom of the screen now. So a couple of people I just wanted to have a mention that I missed out, that I thought maybe deserved kind of discussion or inclusion. I was a big advocate for Damon Heta this year. I know Heta's not really had a great TV presence in terms of deep runs in majors or ranking events. But yeah, he hit 9 data at the Worlds. He's a very marketable guy. I wrote on the website as to the reasons or the case for Damon Heta. So if you want to check that out, the good, the bad, theocky.co.uk is the place for that. But yeah, Damon Heta, I think he would have brought a fresh injection of energy. Again, he has your crowd engagement. He ticks a lot of boxes for a Premier League participant. So I'm hoping that he can kind of put his best darts forward in 2025, and we'll see him in the 2026 version. A couple of others that maybe would have been considered: the 2 Belgians, obviously Mike de Decker, the Grand Prix winner, and Dimitri van den Berg, the UK Open winner from 2024. Again, another 2 where outside of those tournament wins, they've not really done probably enough to suffice inclusion into 2025. Matthew Porter even said on Sky Sports News that he probably was a bit early for de Decker, and I tend to agree with that. I think if you'd have seen de Decker go deeper, like at the in the Grand Slam or in the Worlds, obviously he went out early as well. So yeah, I'm not surprised that de Decker's not in there, but I know for sure that we'll see him, maybe even as early as next year. But so yeah, Dimitri van den Berg, probably everyone's quite happy that we're not going to be seeing his dancing moves, if you can call them that, on the stage. So yeah, but again, he's not done anything. But I was worried that they were going to put someone like him in, because he seems to be in all the PDC adverts and all the kind of affiliates and all the sponsors adverts, like the Fireball and the that telephone line thing that they added over Christmas. So yeah, thankfully, from my perspective, Dimi is not in this season. The other one that I thought might get not necessarily saved, but maybe a good do gesture was Michael Smith. He's now obviously dropped to number 16 in the rankings after his money from the 2023 Worlds has come off. So in hindsight, obviously he's a good entertainer, he's a good darts player, he's got a high ceiling, you can put some big scores and some big averages in, but obviously being slow down in the rankings and not having a great 2024, the PDC and maybe Matthew Porter are just saying, this is a kick up the arse you kind of need to get your act together. But I no doubt reckon that Michael Smith will be in the Premier League next year, if not one after. But yeah, I think maybe it's the kick up the arse that he needed to not being included this year. So I know he'll be hurting, because he likes performing, he likes playing darts. And we love watching him because he's one of the smoothest throwers. He's one of the biggest scorers. He can at least we won't get 16, 17 weeks of the greatest leg being rammed down our throats. So there we go. Yeah, so there you rate. Obviously top 4: Luke Humphries, Luke Littler, Michael van Gerwen, Rob Cross, Stephen Bunting, Nathan Aspinall, Gerwyn Price, and Chris Dobey. They are your kind of 4 invites, if you like. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Do you like the lineup? Are you going to watch it? Are you not going to watch it? Do you think there's someone else that should have been a bit of a shoe-in? But please make sure, if you did like this at any point, please give us a like, give us a subscribe, and again, follow us on social media at Mr. Flightside is where you can find me. So you come and enjoy the journey. That's how I'll be posting. I've got a blog, I've got socials all over the place, so I'll be doing loads of videos on the darting world, everything that's around. So your news, your events, your results. I'll be tweeting along today with the Q score if you've been following that. So give us a follow. I'll also be doing my personal journey in darts as well, because there's a few aspirations that I'd like to get through and to try and achieve in 2025. So I'd appreciate if you want to come and join me for that. We can hopefully make it a bit entertaining, a bit of fun, and most of all, a bit engaging as well. So I just want to say thank you for joining us. This first of many podcasts, many bits of bits of videos on socials. So yeah, thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.